if you can't tell, I'm driving into the sun. And that's the downside of my commute every single day, unless it's cloudy. I drive into the sun on the way to school, and I drive into the sun on the way home from school, because I'm driving east in the morning and west in the afternoon. And this time of year, just after the time change, we just set our clocks forward 2 days ago, it makes a big difference because the sun is not high enough in the sky to really block it efficiently with the sun visor of my car. I could wear sunglasses, but as you can see, I also wear regular glasses, and I don't have prescription sunglasses, and I prefer to be able to see clearly as opposed to seeing without the sun in my face. And the visor does an okay job. I just kind of had to creatively peer below it. This morning, I want to talk about inconveniences. Not really inconveniences. Let me just jump into it. I have parent-teacher conferences tonight at school. And given that I live about a half an hour away, it doesn't really make sense for me to leave after school, go home, and then turn right around and go back to be there in time for conferences, which start at 4. My conferences start at 4, and we have to be there until 7. That's the mandated rules. That was kind of redundant, mandated in rules. We are required to be there as teachers from 4 until 7, regardless of how many conferences we have. I only have 6 total conferences, and they run tonight and tomorrow night. So it's really inconvenient, like I said, for me to have to be there all 6 hours between tonight and tomorrow night when I only have 6 conferences. Each conference is only about 15 minutes. We talk about the kids' grades, we talk about their test scores, behavior concerns, and then we move on. And don't get me wrong, I like talking with these parents whose kids are having some trouble and kind of getting their ideas on what methods I should put in place. But that already takes place throughout the school year. Like, if the kid is having trouble, I call the parent and talk to them. Or I email them. Or they get in touch with me because they recognize that there's a problem too. So the conferencing area is really just for me to explain their grades, which I don't feel like it's my job to explain it. I think it's the kid's job to explain it. I'm sure some people have seen that political cartoon where it's the 2 schoolrooms. One is set in like 1950 something and the other is set in, ambiguous 2000s era. And in the first picture, the teacher is sitting smugly behind the desk while the parents are standing on the other side, all three glaring at the student and asking the student to explain the bad grades on their report card. And then in the picture below that, the teacher is kind of cowering at her desk while the kid stands there with his arms crossed smugly, and the parents are yelling at the teacher, explain these bad grades. And that's kind of the turnaround we've seen, but that's not okay. It is not the teacher's job to give students good grades. It is the student's job to earn the good grades. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm just going to sit back and say, okay, here's your work, do it. I'm a teacher. It's my job to give instruction, to help. But the pattern that we're seeing more and more, and it's not just me who's been doing this for a short time, it's teachers that I've talked to that have been doing this for over 30 years that are seeing these patterns of students that want to work less, parents that expect the teachers to do more, and it's not turning out well. These students aren't receiving the good grades that they expect because they're not putting in the work. And it's kind of along with my topic yesterday morning, how the lack of family time leads to a lack of performance on the kids' end because there's not as much expected of them. They haven't had set rules and expectations. When they go home, it's not their afternoon and evening is not focused on discussing what happened at school, doing any homework that may have been given, and it turns out poorly in the students' favor. So that's kind of where my mind is this morning, is on those parent-teacher conferences that are pretty much, to me, pointless. Now, I will say that the parents that I'm meeting with tonight are parents that I probably need to meet with, as far as like sometimes you have the parents of the kid that's doing great and doesn't need to talk. They just want to come in and hear how great their student is doing. I don't have any of those tonight, which is kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. I wish all my students were doing great and I didn't need to talk to their parents about anything, but such is life. That's just how it is. And so I have parents coming in tonight. I have 3 of them tonight and 3 of them tomorrow night. And I have 3 hours in which to meet them. So, the spacing is not the greatest. I'm going to have a bunch of wasted time that's, could be used doing other things. Now, I will get a chance to catch up on a few graded papers and not have to worry about it over spring break, which is coming up next week, by the way. So I'm going to take a break from the videos because obviously I'm not going to be driving to school next week. Not the most opportune time to start, but I told myself I'd start, and that's what I did. So it's March 15th. It's a little before 7:30. I'm heading to school for a very long day. I won't be home until probably 8 o'clock, 8:30 tonight. And again, like I said yesterday, probably won't get to see very much of my baby girl because she'll be in bed by the time I get home. So not only is it inconvenient for me on the professional end, it's inconvenient for me on the personal end because I'm missing out on that highly desired family time that I crave so deeply. And yeah, that's the unfortunate part about today. The positive sides of today is, again, after tomorrow, today and tomorrow, it's spring break. That's the bright side. That's the silver lining. That's what keeps me chugging on through this week. We have the students get out a half hour early today, so we have a nice hour and a half break before we start our conferences. Do the exact same thing tomorrow. They get out early again tomorrow. We have our conferences tomorrow night. Excuse me, man. It's moments like that I wish I were editing these and not just posting them raw, because there's no reason that you all need to see me sneeze. But excuse me anyway. Thank you to anybody that said bless you. As you can tell, my nose is still a little bit stuffed up. It's been doing this lately in the mornings. So my voice in the morning might sound different than my voice in the afternoon, but again, such is life. So, again, early outs for the kids today and tomorrow, conferences tonight and tomorrow night. No school Friday, no school for the next week. It's going to be great, refreshing, rejuvenating for the teachers and for the students, and hopefully we can come back and finish the last 30-some days of school on a strong note, ready to perform and, just get things done and feel good about what's, the summer that's coming after that. Sometimes I feel like us as teachers live our lives from break to break rather than the students, just because we need that time as well. We get exhausted, we get burnt out, we get tired of seeing the same people every day. Not necessarily the students, because they're always different, but some of the other professionals. You need a break. You just need to get away for the time. I have a week of that time. And like I said yesterday, baby's birthday is coming up soon. Her first birthday. We're excited. My wife has been planning like crazy for like 2 months about how to decorate and what we need to have and all these things. So that's the excitement that's floating around our house, and we are ready for it. We are ready to just be together and have some family time. So, have a great day if you're watching this in the morning. If you're not, have a great whatever is coming up next, and I'll see you this afternoon.